person without discrimination does not even get the path toward liberation. As and when the discrimination grows within you, your intellect blossoms, your power to differentiate between the truth and the false grows, your tendencies perish, and you get liberated. Though you may have ignorance that can bring you several births, it will burn to ashes as you get liberated.
Selfless work reduces the strength of your tendencies and ultimately destroys them, leading to jnana. Selfless work purifies man, whereas selfish work binds him with karma. Many people proclaim that they are serving the society. But if such service increases your ego, it is only harming you. Our ultimate goal is jnana or liberation and not seva or service.
Wealth cannot bestow us with self-knowledge. Only boundless renunciation can bestow us with self-knowledge. My dear friends, renunciation resembles a sword. Only they attain jnana who cut the tree of delusion with the sword of renunciation. Until then, carrying the corpse or taking birth is inevitable.
It is not great to act according to your thinking faculty. It is great to abide by God's will even when you don't like it. Pouring ghee into fire doesn't constitute a yagna or sacrifice. The true yagna lies in sacrificing your evil tendencies. Sincerely hearing God's words is a yagna. Recollecting the same is a yagna. And meditating upon them is a yagna.
The science of self, or Brahma Vidya, is the kingly science among all the sciences. It is the deepest and deathless science. It removes your weaknesses, purifies you, and fills you with jnana. All the other sciences except Brahma Vidya only increase your worldliness. You may master any number of sciences, but you cannot cross this ocean of worldliness or the samsara sagara unless you possess Brahma Vidya.
You can donate only because the Dani exists. Otherwise, whom will you donate to? Therefore, don't be proud of making donations. Instead, have gratitude towards God for giving you this opportunity. Don't be elated on looking at your money. Can that money bring you back at least one day that has passed by? Will the treasure in your house accompany you at least up to the graveyard? Then what makes you feel proud?
Among the several thoughts you get, examine whether the worldly tendencies are strong or God-related tendencies are strong. God gives you only what you desire. The tendencies within you cannot exit without your knowledge. Renouncing all your desires, strongly possess the desire for liberation. Even that will vanish on attaining jnana.
Character is much greater than caste. Humanity is much greater than religion. Do you purchase spoiled brinjals while buying vegetables? No. Then why do you desire friendship with characterless people? In the future, the lives of characterless people will be crushed or destroyed. They will be left only with dark worlds.
This world doesn't belong to us. We came into this world only to destroy our tendencies. On our deathbed, the tendencies hidden within our heart shoot into our brain. The strongest tendency amongst them will conquer the brain in our last breath, which decides the future birth. Only they will be enlightened whose lives are spotless till the end.
Exchanging a word for a word doesn't prove to be actual retaliation. Our scriptures proclaim that silence is the correct solution for such a situation. Our scriptures are the authority, not our intellect or reason. When body-minded people read scriptures, they only perceive what is within their brains and not the actual content of the scriptures.
You are left with exertion only, from all your circumambulations. God is not so innocent to be deceived by circumambulations. God only looks at the purity within your heart. God is not a simpleton that your thoughts remain hidden from Him. Possess higher ideals, at least mentally. Do we lose anything monetarily on possessing such ideals or thoughts? Remember that your thoughts accompany you even in future births.
When you say corpse, does it refer to something that descends from somewhere? No. When breathing ceases, your body itself turns into a corpse. Everyone carries his own corpse as long as he is alive, and 4 people carry it after his death. This is the only difference. Death occurs only when the soul fastens the hidden tendencies within the heart and leaves the body.
It is essential that the body is healthy and the mind is beautiful. If anyone looks beautiful, don't be deluded into believing that even their life will be beautiful. God is impressed only by your heart's beauty and not your body's. You spend your time and money enhancing your body's beauty, but do you spend them to attain God?
Penance doesn't imply being without food or remaining without a bath. It involves neither closing your nose nor closing your eyes. It doesn't even mean closing your mouth or renouncing your house. Penance implies bringing your body, senses, and mind into your control. It is possible by exhausting your body, regulating the senses, and restraining your mind.
All of us are afraid of the burial ground. But even the burial ground is our mother. Isn't it true that after death, the burial ground permanently preserves this body, which originates from a mother? Then why are you afraid of the burial ground? That which burns our tendencies is the actual burial ground, which is our spiritual heart.
Everybody craves happiness, but they are unaware of where it is available. You always think of either Rama or Krishna, but have you ever realized where you can find this happiness? You will not be happy when you have millions of currency in your bank account. You will be happy only when you utilize them.
Working without any expectation is karma yoga. Praying God to merge with Him is bhakti yoga. Concentrating the mind, controlling the senses, and increasing the prana shakti signifies Raja Yoga. Discriminating between the true and the false indicates Jnana Yoga.
Even our dreams are helpful. They reveal what exists within our hearts. The dreams we get in the night represent our short dreams, and the life we are currently leading in the waking state represents our long dreams. The subtle body experiences the short dreams, and the gross body experiences the long dreams. That is the only difference.
Till a person attains the fearless state, his sorrow pursues him. But he can't attain the fearless state until he experiences the self. One can experience the self only through purity of mind. Purity of mind is achieved only by listening to and contemplating the truth, which in turn gifts us with the fruit of Jnana. Truth realization is the highest goal of life. Forgetting his true nature, any research done by man in a laboratory may earn him physical comforts or pleasures but not joy. True joy is contained only in the self. Bhoga or pleasures may cool down the senses but not the heart. The national goal is jnana or enlightenment and not bhoga or pleasures. Relative and scientific knowledge may bring external comforts but cannot release man from ignorance, sorrow, and worldly ties.
How long is your life based upon other people's words? Won't you utilize your intellect or thinking faculty? Why did God bestow you with intellect if you can't use it? Don't leave discrimination until it is within the reach of your reason. But you cannot reach the goal by your mere reason and intellect. Therefore, trust the things that are beyond your reason and intellect by surrendering to God.
People who work to fulfill their desires are equivalent to enslaved people. A slave is never free, he is ever bound. God does not bestow the enslaved people with self-knowledge. If a man cannot experience the self through his self-effort, he leads a life of slavery and also ends his life as an enslaved person rooted in fear.
We all commit this single mistake. We try to swallow God with our minds. Will God consider it a severe lapse in our devotion when we fail to offer Him a coconut? If He thinks so, how can He become God? How can God possess any form when you do not have a form? All this is but the confusion created by your mind.
Jnana increases the power to discriminate between the true and the false. Oneness is much greater than duality. Concentrating on external things only suppresses your senses but doesn't destroy your tendencies. The suppressed senses represent a sleeping snake and may roar back at any time. Only he becomes a jnani whose senses are destroyed, not the one whose senses are suppressed. Only through self-inquiry do the senses weaken, and not through any religion.
Man's life does not commence with the birth of his body. It starts with the birth of his ego. Similarly, a man's life does not end with the death of his body. It only ends with the death of his ego. Therefore, the ego's birth constitutes the actual birth, and the ego's death comprises the actual death. Until man realizes this truth, he can never transcend the vicious circle of births and deaths. God gave us intellect or reason only to realize this truth.
As the police force is required to maintain law and order in a country, the preachings of Jnani are equally essential to fill humanity's heart with peace and bliss. The slayer of ignorance is much superior to the destroyer of hunger, or the bestower of knowledge is much greater than the food donor. Knowledge is different from our education. Even an illiterate can become a jnani. A jnani always uses his power only for the welfare of society.
God bestows them with good thinking faculty, who enjoy their destiny peacefully with full-fledged faith in God. Problems and doubts don't arise for a person with true surrender. A non-sacrificing person can never become a jnani. Only a person with tolerance can become a jnani.
All your studies and qualifications are worthless if they don't increase your discrimination, patience, and humility. Until and unless you realize that other than self, everything else is a dream stuff, you will have to take birth, and as long as you take birth, sorrow is inevitable.
अन्तर्ज्योतिस्वरूपोऽहम् कूटस्थः सर्वगोऽस्म्यहम् सर्वसाक्षिस्वरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः